In the following presentation, we will be discussing the First Great War, World War One. There are many important things that can be said about World War One, so we have condensed them down into a brief presentation, only hitting the highlights on how it started, the technology that was used and brought it to life during the war, specific battles, treaties, how it ended, and the significance of the Great War. Putting this presentation on for you today will be Sydney, Team, Mary, and Mac.
The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the throne of the Austro-Hungarian Empire by Gavrilo Princip, was the cause of a major diplomatic crisis among the European powers called the July Crisis of 1914. Taking place against the backdrop of escalating tensions in the Balkans, the assassination set off a chain of events that would lead to the start of World War I barely 1 month later. High tensions in the Balkans were an immediate cause for the Great War. Austria-Hungary competed with Serbia and Russia for territory and influence in the region, and they pulled the rest of the great powers into the conflict through their various alliances and treaties. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28th. On August 1st, after hearing word of Russia's general mobilization, Germany declared war on Russia. The German army then launched its attack on Russia's ally, France, through Belgium, violating Belgian neutrality and bringing Great Britain into the war as well. This was just the beginning.
The war brought about new weapons to the field. The machine gun was a weapon that could fire up to 200 rounds a minute. Mustard gas was a colorless, deadly toxin that was fired from a shell and would cause blistering skin, vomiting, sore eyes, internal and external bleeding. Death could take up to 5 weeks. Torpedoes were used by submarines to sink ships carrying supplies. An interesting fact, World War I was the last war to use cavalry due to the advancement of weapons. World War I also had new technology to enhance warfare. Tanks were used for the first time, but in World War I, they were only used to transport men across trenches, rather than used as a weapon. Planes also made their first appearance in war. Planes were used as reconnaissance and scouting to find the enemy's position. Submarines could send torpedoes to enemy ships. Here are some of the major battles. All of them took place in Europe and the Ottoman Empire.
Allies of World War One, which were primarily France, United Kingdom, Italy, and the United States, came out victorious. They accepted the surrender of Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and other Central Powers. The Paris Peace Conference was the meeting of the Allied victors following the end of World War One to set the peace terms for the defeated Central Powers. The major actions taken were the work of League of Nations. 5 peace treaties were signed with defeated powers, including the Treaty of Versailles with Germany. The signing of Treaty of Versailles on June 28, 1919 officially ended war between those specific countries. Altogether, there were 440 articles of Treaty of Versailles. In those articles lied that demand that Germany officially accept the responsibility for starting the war and pay reparations. The treaty immensely limited the German military power. German troops were reducing to far lower numbers than they are used to, and they were also banned from possessing major military machinery such as tanks, warships, and submarines.
World War I is significant for several reasons. First, as compared to previous wars, it happened on an unprecedented scale. With 32 countries involved, the war was global like none before it. 9 million soldiers and 5 million civilians died, and the total cost was over 300 billion. In addition to soldiers, civilians were targeted, making it a total war. Many countries changed in government and worldwide position because of the war. America rose to power, becoming a major lender to European nations. Factories built in the U.S. to support the war helped make it the dominant industrial leader in the world. On the other hand, Europe experienced economic downfall, having accumulated debt to assisting nations. From general distrust in government resulting from the war, many European countries changed from monarchies to more liberal forms of government. Finally, in Germany, the Treaty of Versailles brought hardship and desire for revenge. Nationalist Adolf Hitler was elected Chancellor of Germany and began developing military resources. This eventually led to World War II.